All right, we're going to go through with player recognition right here at the beginning, and then I'll get to kind of more of the recap and thank yous at the end. We'll go to the season first. So I talked a little bit about it when everyone was in here, but I did want to kind of reiterate a couple things and talk a little bit more about some things from the season. It was very special going 8-2 regular season, won some really good football games. I think the experience we gained in the past several years, being in some tough games, being in some close ball games, and just the way our guys really grew up the past several years helped out quite a bit. Games got tough. We're down 28-0 to Giles, and we fight back and we get a win. The fully counted game, it comes back and it looks like they're on a comeback, and it's 21-19, and we find a way to pull through and gel and be together and stay committed together and get a win. Early on, huge win over Perry-McClure. We had a few setbacks that game, but just kind of battled it out. And the way we did that all year long was really a good testament to these guys and what all they put into it, the experience they've gained, the trials that they went through. And it's not just through game experience, but it's them pushing each other in practice. It's them pushing each other in the weight room, in other sports, outside of school. The way they kind of compete and work to compete, that kind of competitive spirit in them really showed throughout the year, and it was special to see. Like I said, talk about the Giles game. We have a huge comeback. Really stayed committed in that game. Playoff game for only the 8th time in school history. It's tough. We have a very tough region. We go 8-2 and we get a 5 seed. So it's a very tough region to play in. The only losses we had were the 1 seed, the 2 seed, the number 4 seed. And you look at it, our region the past 5 years has been the state champion. The last 5 years has come from our region. We play in a very, very competitive, very tough region, and it's making us better. We are right there in the thick of things again this year, competing and doing well in our own region. That's good to see, but it's a tough region to be in. I do think there was really 3 big keys to success this year, and I can't say it enough, but the senior leadership we had this year was above and beyond what you normally ask for in a group. And what they showed this year was just how close they are, how committed they are, how competitive they are, but just how good of guys they are. Really high character people, okay? Competitive players, but really high character people. And you see that all the time. You see them working every single day. It was an absolute joy to come to practice and work with these guys. They are very, very committed to getting better and working on their craft and building each other up at the same time. The way they worked in the weight room, we had guys that have been working in the weight room for the past 4 years, guys coming in the summer, being very committed to summer workouts. We had the most guys on the varsity team this year in the weight room during the season. And it might not seem like a lot, but it is a big deal. We had guys getting new maxes in the middle of the season, so they're obviously getting stronger. We had a couple guys do a couple new maxes today, 3 or 4 days after our last game. So it was very, very important. I think we had all but I think 2 or 3 guys on that varsity team in the weight room, whether in my class, coming before school, finding time to lift weights throughout the season. I think that meant a lot. We also led by community service. These seniors really did a good job of getting the guys together. One of the most recent ones going to Solomon's Mission and helping out for the Halloween. It meant a great deal to the kids there and the community going down there and being part of that. They also had a bunch of guys go and be morning readers for some of the elementary schools. And when these guys walk in the door, they're already kind of larger than life, giants anyway. But these guys, the kids really, really look up to them and respect them. And they look forward to seeing these guys come in and read books to them, help out in the cafeteria, do whatever they can just to be a part, be around them. So that was pretty special to see the way our guys were committed to going and helping out the elementary schools. On top of that, on top of the senior leadership, which I thought was really good, we had more players this year than we have in the past. We had 49 guys come out. 21 guys were new players. They had not played football at James River High School before. And that was 14 freshmen, and then a bunch of other guys that came out for the first time. So a little less than half the team were first-time players at the high school. And it means a lot just each and every day in practice. You can actually work in drill work to get better. You can push each other. There's guys to go against every single day to battle, work for starting spots, work for roles on the team. And we were actually able to split up a whole lot more varsity and JV. There was 20-some guys on both teams, so we didn't have to practice together as much. The past couple of years, we've had to do half line and be together a whole lot more often. But being able to split up and get more out of practice and make each other better, I think it showed throughout the season, both on varsity and on JV. You know, when you look at a football team, there's over 80 positions you could go out for. On a Friday night, on a Thursday night when you're playing in a game, there's over 80 positions that they go to work out there throughout the game. You know, it's offense, it's defense, it's special teams. There's a ton of spots to work for, and when you have more bodies and more players and more guys to roll in there, it definitely helps throughout the course of the game. Because no doubt, football is probably the toughest sport. One, it's the ultimate team sport, but it is the toughest sport to win. It is so hard to win a football game because there's so many intangibles that go on, so many little things that you have to do well. You can't base it on one or two people. It really takes a team effort, and all those positions kind of combine into one to get that end goal and win on a Friday night. It is a very tough thing to do. So pretty special. This group came together and did that. The last thing is, you know, these guys really bought in. They bought in throughout the season to the game plan, to the schemes that the coaches were able to put in. I know Coach Jennings talked about it quite a bit throughout the season to these guys up here, but just staying true to ourselves and staying committed to the way we were on defense. I think these guys being in this system for the past 4 years on offense helped out tremendously, being able to work on things, but they really bought into the scheme and executed on Friday night to the best of their ability. It was fun. It was a joy to be a part of, and you know, we're going to miss these 11 seniors in the future, but you know, we have a lot of guys that are going to be able to build from this and get better the next several years. So the future looks bright for sure. It's the path these guys have paved. So I'm going to stop talking right now and call some names here. Matthew Walker, come on up. Matthew's getting recognized part of the football team. He dressed for quite a few of the games, helped out on special teams, on defense a few times, and he's one of those guys that came in and competed quite a bit each and every day of practice. You know, we talk as coaches every day about who's getting better and who's pushing who, and this is one of the guys, his name came up quite a bit, pushing each other in practice. So, just a freshman, a lot of years to look forward to with this guy. Next one, Austin Miller. Also was another guy that I think really kind of came into his own this year from his freshman season. He made great strides, incredible linebacker, had great range all over the field on JV, and we're looking for good things out of him in the future. Logan Campbell. I had Logan in baseball this past spring, and I got in an argument with my coaches numerous times about there. I did not think he would be playing varsity, but after about 2 weeks, he just does so many things well, especially for a freshman. He has a knack for the football. You know, he's not the biggest guy. He's not the strongest, the fastest guy, but he gets the job done. He's very crafty and he's very, very smart. One of the first things I remember is we were going up there to talk out a pass blocking scheme. And I went up there to explain it. And right before I got the words out of my mouth, Logan turned to me and said exactly what I was thinking. And I had one of those aha moments right there, like, okay, this guy's a freshman, and he's got it. He does a lot of really, really good things on the field. We just got to give him the weight room and get him a little bit bigger. So this is 2 years in a row we've had a freshman play on the offensive line. It's very, very tough to do. Very, very tough to do, especially for coming right into it, playing against guys that are 4 or 5 years older than you. But outstanding job by Logan. Craig Bozier. Craig's too quiet. He's way too quiet. It's hard to get a read on him. I had to check with him a lot of times. It's like, are you all right? You're doing good. He just kind of gives you that smile and goes about his business. This is one of the guys that I told you, he's got a squat max on game day. One of the games that we played on Thursday, I think he even ended up getting a squat max that day. A lot of the JV guys, they lift twice a week anyway. This was a guy that had my class, and he went right along lifting, getting stronger, getting better. He was able to help us out quite a bit on varsity. He even started for us at kicker for, I think, 5 games, and did a great job. Put the ball down there inside the pin. Really, really nice to see him out on the field. Great talent. Looking forward to 3 more years. Deacon Varsity. Deacon was that guy that started on the line for us last year, started all 10 games. We moved him to H-back this year. I thought it was a great move for us, a great move for him, especially for as many linemen we had coming back to really step up and help us out. But you can tell a lot about Deacon because he has just an incredible drive. He's just an incredible motor. Sometimes he gets in his way. He goes too fast, too hard, too fast. But we talked to him early on about don't let up. Give everything you got on the field, and he's the guy that's going to do that. You really enjoy hearing from other coaches about they rave about this player, they rave about that player. Whether it's being a football player or just a great guy, good leader, whatever it is. And there's a lot of guys that say a lot of good things about 33, and I think that's a really good honor to have. So, Deacon Varsity. Addison McCaleb. Addison stepped up in a big way this year. He started every single game at linebacker for us as a sophomore. Very tough spot to be in. Good thing is he had a pretty good mentor to play the side that really helped me out throughout the year. But he is a competitor. He's extremely coachable. He just wants to do well. It really bothers him when he doesn't do something well. That's a good trait to have. That's a trait that's going to do benefits to him beyond football, down the road. So it's really good to coach him. He's always working to get better. I know he was always very studious and trying to learn, and he got better. He got better throughout this year, and just a sophomore on top of that. Nathan Ferris. Nathan worked his way into a starting role kind of halfway through the season. He was kind of right there in limbo, playing JV, playing varsity. When he stepped in there, he gave us a great lift, especially early on. He just has this natural grit to him when he's on the football field. I mean, he's not the tallest guy, he's not the biggest guy, and he plays line, which is a pretty physical position. But he does a great job pulling for us at guard. We pull quite a bit from the guard position. And he has quick feet, but the biggest thing I say about him is he has this grit when it comes to being competitive. I had him in gym class too. He's the same way. He just wants to compete, and might not do anything flashy, not everything flashy, but he has that grit to him to be competitive, which is good to see. Levi Walker. Levi's a guy that played both offensive and defensive line for us. We made a move. He got a little bit bigger in the offseason, and it was a testament to how hard he's been working. This is a guy that has not hardly missed a weightlifting session since going into his freshman year. And when I talk to younger guys, I point to Levi about that's what it's going to take right there, because he hasn't missed hardly any workouts, any lifts throughout the season. And he's gotten a whole lot stronger. Probably the strongest guy that we have on the team. He's just a junior. He anchored both sides, of the line for us, a tackle, and then on the defensive front. Very, very tough player, very strong player. Still a lot of room to improve. So I think the potential is still there, and the ceiling's a lot higher. We're expecting a lot of things of him next year as a senior, but pretty nice job. Got second team all district offensive tackle, second team all district defensive line, both sides of football. Jack Boyd. I can say this about all these guys. I mean, they're such a pleasure to coach. Jack is one of them. He gives you everything he has, not just in the game, but in practice. He works so hard in practice to make himself better and make the people around him better, and it paid off. You know, sometimes you don't see the results right away. It's not going to happen just instantaneous right away like we're used to kind of in this digital world that we live in. But Jack has put in the time quite a bit, and all of a sudden he's called upon 6, 7 games in the season to be that starting corner for us, and he stepped up in a huge way, played very, very well. He makes plays out there on the field because he does what he's coached to do, and he does what he drills on every single day, and all of a sudden it happens, and it's very much a joy to see, especially being a defensive back coach, seeing him do the same things that we drill and we work on every single day, and it starts paying off. Great guy to coach, great attitude, and like I said, he works every single day to make himself better, the people around him better, just because of his work ethic. Kevin Timon. Kevin. Hey. If I told you at the end of the season you'd be first team all-district defensive back and second team wide receiver, would you tell me? All right, this guy did that this year, okay? I'll tell you what, I've seen something from him quite a few years ago when he was, when he was this scrawny little 8th grader. He's still not a whole lot of meat on there, but when he was just an 8th grader, we're down there competing 7-on-7s against Allegheny, and he's that sponge. He's trying to work, he's trying to get better. He had a knack for the football then. He gets better every single day. I can't say enough about him. When we break down film on Sundays, we talk about the game the previous Friday or Thursday or Saturday, whenever we played a football game this past year. But whenever we played that game, we sit down and talk about it. His name always comes up for unsung hero of the game because he blocks his butt off every single play. He works. He has such great drive on the field, and he just wants to get better. He wants to do the best he can. I think more so for his teammates than he does even himself, which is good. But it's good to see some of his hard work paying off. Now he's got to get more meat on the bones. Be good. Congratulations. Cade Stanley. I think Cade made a move this year. He's another guy that's very, very dedicated to the weight room, working hard. He pushes a lot of these guys, especially in the weight room on the field. But he made a move this year to linebacker. I think he really enjoyed. I think it was something that he kind of grasped and ran with. And just getting used to that new position was tough for him, but I think it found a little bit more joy in football season this year. But once again, another one of those guys that's going to work extremely hard to better himself and better those guys around him. Great guy to coach. Caleb Shipwash. Shipwash, he's that guy that when he plays well, it instantly gives everybody a lift. It instantly brings everybody up. When he makes a big play, it's huge. It is absolutely huge. He just kind of has that natural ability about himself, the charismatic way that he brings everybody up when he's playing well. He kind of found a knack for playing that defensive line spot this year. We put him right there in that one position and let him work and compete at that nose guard spot. When he's in there all fired up, it's fun to watch, and he does a great job working. It's fun to coach every day. Very fun to coach every day. So. He is a big help to Coach Witt in practice with water. Big help, Coach Witt. Chase Perky. Perky comes out and he has this natural ability to make these explosive plays. He just has that in him. You saw it against Covington. He comes off the bench and boom, first play catches like a 70-yard touchdown. Early in the season, he had a couple really big hits playing defensive back. We started giving out some incentives. Coach Burrell started working with these guys. Next thing you know, he's flying down the field, making plays on kickoff. But he has an explosive play capability. He's a very high energy guy. I think he really kind of came into his own the last couple weeks, making a conscious effort, making himself better, and really working hard to get better. So looking for really good things out of Chase next year, kind of stepping up, being that leader, because we know what he's got capable, what he has in store. Just kind of bring that out of the field. Luke Pay. Luke's another one of the guys that he's going to have success. He's going to do well just because he's out working people, and he's very coachable. I know he gets coached extremely hard by pretty much everybody up here, and it's one of those things where everybody knows how much potential he has and how well he wants to do for himself. So it's easy to kind of give him that advice and coach on him, but he plays. He's gotten better and better the last couple of years. He's a guy that started pretty much every game for us as a sophomore. You can see the improvements he made this year. He's getting stronger in the weight room. He's making plays out there. He ran the ball extremely hard for us. I think he had close to 500 yards rushing and some touchdowns. But I've never seen a guy get, I don't know what he does. I don't know if he's saying something on the field or what he does. He gets held more than anybody I've ever seen. That doesn't get called. His jersey's coming away from his body most of the night. He's still fighting off trying to make plays. But second team all-district running back, second team all-district linebacker, both sides of football. Dylan McCallum. Dylan was not here. He was here. Jamie Markham. Jamie's one of the guys, he's quiet, he's a hard worker. He's another guy that's hardly missed a workout in the past several years. He comes, he's there. He's that guy that is just great for the team. He's a great guy that's going to work every single day. He's just really, really quiet. He has that explosive play capability too. He really gets after it, especially when he's really committed on something. But the way he's worked in the off season, the way he works out on the field, you show how much it means to him to have success and to do well. And he really makes a lot of guys around him better. He pushes us. He pushes us every single day in practice. Some of the runs he makes in practice, it kind of makes you stand back and kind of open your eyes a little bit, but makes some good plays. But like I said, one of these guys is very committed to the off season, to the weight room, doing things the right way. This is the guy you're going to look at that's always going to be doing the right thing, with the manners, doing everything the best he can. Jamie Martin. Logan Williamson. Logan has been a part of this program all 4 years here. He started offensive and defensive line as a sophomore, battled through some injuries this past year, and then not playing this year. I know it was tough on him. I know it was tough on a lot of his teammates, a lot of his peers, a lot of his good friends. But I told him a while back, I don't think he realized how much it meant, I think, to some of these guys up here, to this senior class, how much it meant for him to be out there at practice, to be out there helping them out. He did a ton of things for us. He helped out with film, he helped out with stats, he helped out down there on the field. We couldn't get him to run as many sprints as I was trying to get him to run. He kind of backed out of some of those, but no, he was down there with us quite a bit, and I know he wanted to be out there and be a part of it, and I didn't want to take that away from his senior year because he's been a part of this program all the way through, and I think it meant a ton, not just to him to be a part of it, but a lot of his teammates and his peers too. So good to have him along for the ride this year. Carl with a K. points. Carl's that guy next year that's going to blow somebody's mind at college, wherever he is, and he's going to say, you talk about high school career and this and that. But yeah, I started D-line. And they're going to look at him and think he's crazy, and then he's probably going to have to, I don't know if they'll ever believe him, to be honest. But started pretty much every game for us at defensive line. Carl was the guy that came to me a couple years ago in spring workouts and said, "Coach, I want to try out for football." And I said, "Sure." We were trying to get some more guys to play, and he comes out, and I think it was like the first day you can tell that like the light bulb went off. It just hit him that he kind of enjoyed this. And I don't know where it came from. I was shocked as anybody. But he came out, he stuck with it. He got himself better each and every year. He battled through a lot of things, a lot of injuries, he had to deal with. And he still stepped up and said he wanted to be a part of the team, still wanted to play. Guys that have commitment like that, guys that have heart like that and are committed to do anything for the team, we'll find a place for you. And we found a place for him on the defensive line, and he got in there and worked his butt off against guys that were 2-3 times bigger than him. But he's the guy that's going to work. He never complained one bit. I've had some guys that have played defensive line for me before. His size are smaller, and they'll complain the whole game about stepping on me or elbowing me and this and that. Carl was never that type of guy. He just went about his business and worked very, very hard. So he's going to blow some people's minds next year when he tells them he started on defensive line his senior year of high school. But very much enjoy to have Carl play. Is Owen here? Purdue? Jack Hutchins. Jack was certainly the leader on our offensive line, second-year starter at center for us. Tough position, especially since we're snapping the ball in shotgun pretty much every single play. This offense accounted for almost 4,000 yards of total offense, an average about 30 points per game, and it all started right there on that offensive line. I sat with these guys last game of the season against Carroll this past year, the year before last, and I talked to every one of them right there. I said, every one of you guys is coming back. We didn't have a senior starter on that offensive line. And I was like, it's going to be on you guys. It's going to be absolutely 100% on you how far we go and how well we do next year. And these guys bought in, and this right here was really, really the ringleader of it. Getting the guys together. We had a couple of the cookouts throughout the season at parents' house. I think was huge for the team and the chemistry and the camaraderie to really bring these guys together. But Jack is that guy that's always going to be upbeat and uplifting to everyone around him. Second team all-district center. He got voted on. So I'll be amiss if I didn't say this. I've been saying some of the all-district things. Deacon Ubanus got second team all-district tight end as well. So. Daniel Holton. Daniel, a lot like Jack was for the offensive line, Daniel was absolutely our leader on defense, probably our overall leader, all around. 2-year captain, very special for that, but he's the guy that led us down the field. I don't know what we'd have done if something would have happened to him, calling defense or going around the field. I don't know what we'd have done, but he's the guy that really stepped up for us. We tried to save him a little bit offensively, and then later in the year, he steps up and comes in there and gives us a good boost on offense, playing some really good snaps for us. 2 touchdown catches on his birthday. You're welcome for that. So, but he played outstanding. He's really that leader in the community, as much as he's involved with like FFA and throughout the school and everything that he does. He really puts these guys right here and this team first. I mean, they're right there at the forefront of everything he does, he uplifts everybody around him. He makes people better. He's that guy that'll get on you, that you really need to have in practice or in games. That'll get you going if you're not really doing it the right way or up to par. So he's been a great guy to coach. You can never knock. You can never take anything away from how hard he plays and his commitment. So great one to have. He's definitely going to be missed. Coach Rogers. Before I talk about Coach, Daniel Holter, first team all-district linebacker. That's pretty good company in that linebacker position in our district. Pretty good company, so very tough district to get recognized at that position. But Coulter Hodges, I already said he got District Player of the Year. So first team quarterback, Offensive Player of the Year. He was very well regarded in the past 2 years in a lot of these meetings that we go to by other coaches. They'll look at me and say, I don't know how in the world he made that throw, or I don't know how he got that throw off, or he just takes shots, takes hits. He runs hard. He doesn't really do a lot of things. Doesn't really do anything special. Run the ball, throwing the ball. He has kind of that Brett Favre just kind of mentality to him. He's just going to get it done. He doesn't really give you a lot of moves running. He just kind of runs right through you, his chest up and everything. Then he put his pads down. But he stands in the pocket and makes throws. He had a great group around him. I already talked about the offensive line a little bit, but some good receivers, some good running backs. I jinxed him because among our entire team, we did something that there's not too many teams in a 10-game season can say. We didn't have a fumble the entire regular season. We did not fumble the ball one time, which is unheard of. I think Coulter had something like 150 carries in the regular season, plus 100 and some pass attempts, getting the shotgun snap from center pretty much every single time, and never fumbled the football. That's very, very hard to do. But on top of that, along with the other running backs too, we never lost a fumble. Caught up to us last Thursday, but that was a pretty amazing stat to say. There's not too many football teams in the history that can say they never fumbled a football the entire regular season. But he really made a commitment this year to being that playmaker, to kind of put everybody on his back and go. And I think he really stepped up as a leader. Him, along with Daniel Holter and River Clunch, were voted our captains this year, and I thought they did that extremely, extremely well from that leadership position. But going up here, Coulter Hodges. River Clunch. River's been a guy that's played multiple positions for us, been kind of like that slash receiver, running back. He's gone to tailback a couple times this year. Played DB, played safety, played corner. Went back to safety, went back to corner. Punt returner, kick returner, and it's kicked off for us. There was a couple games this year, I don't think he ever came off the field, but if I was to ask him, he probably wouldn't have it any other way. He's that type of competitor. I don't think I've ever heard him say anything negative. Bring anybody else down. He's just a very positive, enthusiastic kid. He is fun to coach. He makes plays, and you guys watched a lot of football games this year. He just has a knack for making plays when he's around the football. Another one of our captains. I think you can see why, the way he works every single day, making people better. But very well regarded in the district. First team wide receiver. Had almost 900 yards receiving, 8 touchdowns. He had almost 500 yards rushing and 7 touchdowns. So just in between those two right there, there's over 1,600 yards and 15 touchdowns. Pretty prestigious honor. He got first week of the season, Friday Football Extra Player of the Week against Chatham. I think 8 catches for 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, 5 for 5 extra points, an interception. He kicked off that game. He had a couple punt and kick returns, but outstanding game, gets Friday Football Extra Player of the Week. He also got recognized through WFXR, him and Coulter, co-players of the week that week. and Coulter got WSLS 10 Player of the Week for that game with 6 touchdowns. But very well recognized, first team wide receiver, second team DB, second team kick returner, second team all-purpose offense. Just an all-around outstanding guy, very fun guy to coach. So, River. Corey Carson. Don't even recognize the man right now. Hard to tell. Corey is an outstanding teammate. He is such a joy to be around. He's always smiling. He got everybody upbeat when he came back from summer vacation with the new boombox, and he was a fun guy to have right there. You learn a lot from these guys, and it's not just on the field during practice, but it's how close these guys were off the field. Just hanging out in the locker room, hanging out on weekends together. We took the seniors bowling early in the season. It's funny how competitive some of these guys get bowling, but Corey's one of those guys, just an outstanding teammate. He's an outstanding friend, a guy that is going to give you everything he has. You saw it. You visually see it every single day in practice, how hard he works, how hard he tries. And he's a fun guy to coach, fun guy to be around. This guy's going to make every team better that he's on. So thank you, Corey. Andrew Bridges. Andrew came out, it's about time. I've been trying to get him to play football for the last several years. He finally came out, and he's like a couple of these other guys. I think it's one of those things that he wished he'd been playing more often, but we were really glad to have him out his senior year. He steps in, he gets into a starting safety role for us, which is a pretty tough position to play with all the checks and everything that we go through, getting lined up the correct way, knowing who to read. He made his mistakes early on, just getting used to the position, but you can never fault his effort. He's 130 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 pounds? 130 pounds, woo! 130 pounds, but I told people, he tries to hit like he's a 230 pounder. He throws everything he has into people, and he gets that, he gets fired up out of the field, which is good to see. Pretty crazy, guy comes out the first time ever. Senior year. I wish it didn't happen as much, but so happy to have him, and I could never be more proud than when he got voted this year's second team all-district safety, first year playing as a senior. So it's a pretty special time. Brandon Bolton. Brandon's not one of those quiet guys, but I think, as much as he's been in this system last year, starting as much as he did and coming here and playing, last year, I don't know if he was kind of unsure of himself on that offensive line. This year, you could definitely tell that he was a lot more seasoned, a lot more experienced, knew what he was doing, understood the playbook a whole lot more, and it definitely showed out there on the field. We had a lot of guys rolling in there competing on that offensive line, and he's another one of the guys that made the guys around him better. He made himself, he worked on making his own craft better, but he made the guys around him better just the way he competed in practice. Like I said, we had a lot of guys rolling in there, working on that offensive line. Coach Witt did a great job of letting them guys compete and getting better, but he's an